extension of the suspension and that the request was provided to Kasheka on the 22nd of May 2023. On the night of the 23rd of May 2023, I saw that on my WhatsApp I had missed a call from Dr. Mashazi, the city manager. You heard that. So I wanted to correct the record because my question had implied that it was not a WhatsApp call, as he had stated in his statement. But in oral testimony, he himself described it as a WhatsApp call he had missed from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, I do not have missed calls. If there's a missed call from the WhatsApp, I could have seen it.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I accept the corrections from your side.
Thank you. So gracious of you.
Mr. Lo, on the issue of the missed call,
Yes.
I thought it was the other way around. Mr. Niza said he had missed a call.
Yes, Mr. Niza, in his paragraph 46 in the statement, said he had missed a call from Dr. Mashazi. And in oral testimony, says on that same night, the date is correct, I saw that on my WhatsApp I had missed a call from Dr. Mashazi.
Now, Dr. Mashazi, in her response, says she doesn't have a missed call on her WhatsApp.
Yes, that's her evidence. And therefore, if just to complete that, Commissioner, I had suggested that the annexures she had provided, which are screen grabs of her WhatsApp communication, don't have a bearing on the question of whether or not she had called Mr. Niza on the day in question. But based on his testimony that it was a WhatsApp call, then that annexure has to be relevant.
Thank you.
You mischaracterized the allegations.
Yes.
You thought Commissioner had alleged they were WhatsApp
Dr. Mashazi,
communications.
just
That's
still
only
on the
point I sought to
vetting
make.
issue, maybe just to complete it. Commissioner Spies, when he testified on the 10th of November, he said that in a meeting, there was a meeting of senior management. You were not in that meeting, but Brigadier Mkwanazi was in that meeting. And in that meeting, Commissioner Spies, gave a report on the vetting issue and the fingerprinting report. He had a fingerprinting report to give in the context of the vetting issue. And then Brigadier Mkwanazi was displeased about that process. And I'm trying to summarize his evidence. He says that he physically took, what I do say is that your section did not provide their fingerprints. This is Spies, he says this to Mkwanazi. And they refused to provide their fingerprints. I'm not saying you have a criminal record. And Spies says, and he just kept on screaming at me in front of all of us in the meeting. He physically took his phone out and he started phoning and he speak. You can clearly hear he's speaking to the city manager, Imogen Mashazi. And he puts the phone down and he says, the city manager says, this process will stop immediately. And he turned around, he walked out in an extremely disrespectful manner, closed the door. And then the chief Mapiaye then calmed us all down and said, stop, do not discuss further anything here. He will go and speak to the city manager afterwards and he will calm everything down and we must just carry on our work. And then he further lastly says, and from that meeting then, the very next day, I received an email from Kasheka wherein she stated that the process must stop and we must submit everything to them. At that stage, I had already prepared what we call a council item. Do you know firstly, do you know anything about this part where he says Brigadier Mkwanazi picked up his phone and he was speaking to you on the phone? You know anything about the vetting issue?
I don't know anything, and I would say that the statement is untrue and worrisome. I never made that statement.
Did Chief Mapiaye never ever speak to you about the refusal of Brigadier Mkwanazi that his team should be vetted?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then, do you know anything about Mr. Sheka's involvement with this vetting issue?
I'm not aware, unless she sees with me, but I'm not aware.
Okay. And did you ever become aware of Commissioner Spies' council item on this issue? An item that he prepared that was to be submitted to council?
Well, if it's an item that was supposed to be submitted to council, obviously it had reached council. There's no item that are prevented, especially in terms of processes and systems or processes that are geared to improve the performance and also enforce compliance and governance. I wouldn't stop such items.
And that item would have come through you, because I
Yes.
understood you saying EMPD accounts to council through you.
No, the item would come to me. All the items that go to or that serve in the mayoral committee, these are the items of the accounting officer emanating from the department.
Yes.
Then from the mayoral committee, the items become the responsibility of the mayor or the executive mayor's item. That's why he's the one who will speak on items in council. I only speak to items in the mayoral committee.
Okay. Well, I think what I'm trying to understand is that if Commissioner Spies is correct, if he's correct that he then prepared a council item, for that item to end up at council eventually, it would have had to go through your office because he doesn't have direct access. That's all I'm checking.
Exactly.
Okay, and you don't remember such an item?
I do not recall. If there is an item, obviously, as an accounting officer, as I indicated that I do support the vetting in terms of the legislation.
Yes.
If there was such an item, obviously, it ended up in council being a council item.
But, yeah, I guess I'm trying to understand whether do you have knowledge of what Commissioner Spies is talking about when he talks about an item that was going to go to council?
Yes, ma'am.
You know about it? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. In all fairness to you, Dr. Mashazi, I think I should bring something to your attention. Can I refer you to Annexure IM 17, your annexure, your file, the WhatsApp screen grabs,
Yes, ma'am.
IM 17, page 55.
Page 17.
IM 17, page 55.
55. Yes, ma'am.
Now, that IM 17, do you confirm to the commissioners that it is a true reflection of what appears in your phone?
Exactly, ma'am.
Do you confirm that you have not deleted anything in that WhatsApp communication before you submitted?
I do confirm that I did not delete anything.
We have been furnished with a WhatsApp screenshot from another phone, Mr. Ngiza's phone. And I think it's incumbent upon me to inform you that it is similar to your IM 17, except after that information notice 4 of 2023, there is an entry of 23rd May 2023, which reflects a missed call at 1813, followed by the document that appears at the bottom of page 55, which of the 4th of August 2023.
Okay.
And Mr. Ngiza will be required to file a supplementary statement in this respect. At 1813 on the 23rd of May 2023, which is omitted from your IM 17. What is your comment to that?
My comment is I do not have knowledge of that, and he must prove, or in fact, this must be proved by the service provider. The service provider that is responsible for calls and whatever, call logs and so forth. From my screenshot, I do not have information that Mr. Ngwiza called me, be as it may that it was a missed call, but I do not have that information in terms of my screenshot.
And I'm putting it to you that over the same time period, his phone indicates a missed call from you. Do you have a comment?
No comment.
Okay. I then invite a comment to, and this I say on the assumption that he will file a proper supplementary statement with the supporting screenshots, that what you submitted as IM17 has been manipulated. Do you have a comment to that?
I don't have a comment. Manipulation, yo.
Okay. I then want us to move to the next question, and our next question would be question 5, starting at page 14 of your statement. And this concerns the question of the application for leave of absence signed by by Chief Mapieye, dated 18 March 2023 and approved by the city manager, yourself, that is. You respond to that question from paragraph 79 to 84. And I invite you to summarize your response, so for the benefit of the commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, on the 16th of August 2023, I held a meeting with Chief of Police in my office regarding the challenges in the department. And in terms of he exhausted, he is experiencing significant emotional strain, and he required time away. That was on the 16th. And from that meeting, both of us, we agreed that we should actually call his immediate subordinates to inform them, to also get the understanding of the challenges in the department, and also request a turnaround plan in terms of the department's functionality. Then on the 27th, we indeed convened that meeting, myself and Chief. In the meeting, there was HOD, HR Linda Kasheka, where she took minutes. During this meeting, I expressed concerns about the state of affairs in the EMPD, because there were a lot of issues that emanating from junior personnel, the new recruits, plus minus 400 to 500, that were appointed and did not have tools of trade like your firearms, and they were sent out there in the street. There were a lot of media queries, social media queries, that how do we send and how are they going to protect the citizens without firearms? Over and above that, there were also a lot of challenges in terms of labor relation matters in the department that were actually not dealt with properly. Then from this meeting, we requested that Chief of Police, as he requested time off, we requested that he should actually draft a recovery plan, sort of a turnaround. Officers do have uniform, they have firearms, and he concludes the tender for firearms, because by then, when we discussed this thing, there was no tender for firearms. And they kept on coming to me with a deviation. And it has been my practice since the first term of office that I am not going to approve any deviation. If we look at the book that I've written, and also at the audio of HODs during my farewell party, one indicated that the city manager was clear about governance. If we go to her, if we fail to manage your contract and you go to her without, with a deviation, you must also go with the resignation. That is how serious we were in terms of governance. So there was nothing in the department, and hence we requested this meeting. Emanating from the meeting, obviously, we've annexed the minutes that were taken by Kasheka, and the turnaround plan that was requested.
I would like to refer you to, and you don't have to go there, I'll read it for you. It's Chief Mapiea's statement, paragraph 104. Chief Mapiea states that on the 15th of August, he delivered to you a letter of intent to institute proceedings against the city regarding the precious stones theft allegedly committed by members of EMPD who were reporting directly to Brigadier Mkwanazi. When I delivered it to her, she challenged me on the fact that the letter does not make any reference to Brigadier Mkwanazi, and neither does he appear in the attached pictures. She suggested that I was persecuting Brigadier Mkwanazi and was biased towards him and threatened to suspend me with immediate effect. She immediately corrected herself and told me that she was actually suspending me with immediate effect. I have just read paragraph 104 of Chief Mapiea's statement. My first question to you is, did you see the letter the letter of demand that Chief Mapiea references regarding alleged theft of precious stones by members of EMPD who report to Brigadier Mkwanazi?
Thanks. I need to correct the fact that he came to me on the 15th. He came to me on the 16th, where I raised the issues I've raised. The report about the precious stones, we found it in the bundle, and also in the bundle from Mapea and them. He himself never discussed this with me. And for me, it's fabrication of information that I ask him, where's Julius? I mean, if there's a suit, 45 million litigation against the city, as an accounting officer, I must be worried and do something, rather than looking for a face of some junior official.
And this letter of demand is annexure 24 to Chief Mapiea's statement. If you could turn to that document, please, Chief Mapiea's annexures, annexure 24. Page 112.
112.
And for the record, it should read JM24. It should be marked JM24. This is a letter, a notice, in fact, in terms of Section 3 of the Institution of Legal Proceedings against Certain Organs of State, Act 40 of 2002. The subject line reads, Re Peter Jacobus, Prinsloo, versus the Minister of Police, that's the first, the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality and the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. You see that? I see on the face of this document that it bears 3 stamps, the first being the Ministry of Police against the address of the Ministry of Police, and I read that to be confirmation of receipt of the letter. It's then followed by the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality, and once again it bears a stamp of the Metropolitan Police. Then, there's a stamp of Metropolitan Police, although slightly misplaced, because the third party is the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department, and there is a City of Ekurhuleni received stamp dated 15/08/2023. This is the claim for 45 million and complaint against certain members of EMPD who acted unlawfully, with the result that a citizen in Killarney was robbed of a certain quantity of precious stones. The first issue is, besides the unlawfulness of the act, is the fact that these members were acting outside the jurisdiction of Ekurhuleni municipality, being in Killarney. As a consequence of their actions, the city is now facing a claim, a potential claim of 45 million for damages. You confirm that your office received this demand, letter of demand?
Yes, we received this. My office did receive. Maybe I should explain the process. Any summons that the city receives, because some of them are urgent and whatever, they go directly to the HOD legal, to the legal department. Obviously, the summons went to the department from my office to the HOD legal to assist us to defend the case because they have panel of attorneys.
Although we're not talking about a summons here, I take it, you considered the content of this document, and in particular noted the importance of the allegations, in that members of the seat EMPD, which is part of the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality, not only undertook unlawful acts out in the public, but did so outside the jurisdiction of Ekurhuleni. I won't pose a question, I'll make a suggestion to you that ought to have been an exceptionally disturbing state of affairs. Was it equally disturbing to you?
Agreed.
And it came to your attention?
It came to my attention, but not through the way Chief is alleging.
Did you engage Chief Mapieye on the content of this very disturbing notice?
As I indicated, ma'am, that the process, when we receive summons, my PA urgently takes the summons to the corporate and legal. She records them and take them directly to corporate and legal to defend.
But these are not summons. This is not a summons.
It's a letter of demand.
Yes.
And
the contents of which you became aware?
I became aware because it was served in my office and it was sent to corporate and legal.
And I'm asking whether, on becoming aware of the contents of this document, did you take up this exceptionally serious issue with the Chief of Police, Chief Mapieye?
Chief Mapieye, remember I indicated that I took the document straight. The document was taken straight to corporate and legal. We never had a chance of discussing this thing with Mapieye because for already is a letter of demand that needs legal attention. Because if we do not address the letter of demand, we'll get summons, litigations, and so forth. Because in terms of letter of demand, the litigation is about 46 million, which is concerning for the city and concerning to me as an accounting officer.
You seem more concerned about the value of the demand and less about the conduct of EMPD officers.
It's incorrect, ma'am. I agree.
You agree that you are more concerned about the 45 million?
No.
Okay. Sorry, the dean coming from next door interfering with my hearing. And hence my question. And my question is premised on the assumption that this is not a daily occurrence. It ought to have come as an absolute shock to you. Mm-hmm. And I want to understand from you whether it was sufficiently shocking that you demand that Chief Mapieye engage you on the contents of this notice. Was it that shocking to you? Or you thought it is an issue that could be discussed in the course of time?
For me, there are two things. It was about the serious misconduct of his officers. Two, the issue of the city being dragged into this, and the issue of, in terms of the issue of litigation. So hence I'm saying legal documents, and I'll reiterate again, that I cannot interpret legal documents. If there's a letter of demand or summons or whatever, they will go to HOD Behar.
You
Directly to Behar. I
you-
wouldn't waste time because immediately I want to sit with a report like this in the office, and there are a lot of reports, and wasting time in terms of letter of demand or summons and whatever. I've been summoned to different courts within Gauteng, where issues of this nature have actually happened. The misconduct, the briberies and so forth, and lack of implementation of awards and so forth. So I really don't want to waste time. I did not want to waste time.
I
It went
appreciate
to-
But I'm more interested in the content, what you did with it. As you can see from page 117, attached to the notice were pictures, color pictures. Unfortunately, the copies we had ever black and white, so it is difficult to make out who is who in those pictures. But Chief Mapiea testified that the original was forwarded to IPID and that those pictures are in color, and that in those color photographs, members of EMPD are easily recognizable. What I want to engage you on is not about how you treat summons. It's about how you treated this issue vis-a-vis the chief of police. It is concerning to me that you didn't even bother to have a conversation with him.
Thank you, ma'am. Did you ask the same question because he is the executive CEO of the department? Did you ask him that question? What did he do about this?
Yes, I asked
Because
him.
it has nothing to do with the accounting officer. He has a function and powers from the SAPS Act that he must discipline, he must do 1, 2, 3. He's given those powers. And we discussed those powers at length this morning, that he is empowered to do 1, 2, 3 in terms of the SAPS Act, to discipline members, to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I think it's a bit unfair that these questions are now posed to me while he failed to do his duties as an accounting officer of the department or as an executive director in terms of the SAPS Act.
Okay, it was, and you recall I read from his statement where he said, according to this document, it's got a date stamp of the 8th of August, 2023, which is the date on which the EMPD received it. Your office received it later, actually, on the 15th. And on the 15th, he came to your office to discuss this document and show you, according to him, the problems being experienced and illegal acts performed by members of EMPD. And rather than engage with the contents of this document, you took issue with him that he appears biased towards Mkwanazi, where in circumstances where Mkwanazi is not on any of the pictures. That is his evidence before this commission. So yes, we did engage him on that.
I did not engage him on that. I indicated that I had a meeting with the chief on the 16th, not even on the 15th. And the issues that I raised, it was about the dysfunctionality of the department, not even this. So I will request, ma'am, that the responsibility of dealing with issues lies with chief of police. He was supposed to be asked questions, what did you do with the document? Because in terms of the act, he's the one who's supposed to take action against the misconduct of his officers.
I agree with you. And yes, that's a conversation we've been having since morning regarding his powers. What we are discussing is slightly different, which is the concern by the chief of police and the concern by the city manager about the contents of that document. And you appear not to have any concerns regarding the contents of that document. So much so that you confirm you didn't initiate a conversation with Chief Mapiea about what's stated in there, and you suggest that neither did Chief Mapiea.
I reiterate that Chief Mapiea was supposed to take action on this particular document. My issue is for summons and ensure that the city is not litigated. But I take your point that he failed to do his duty, not mine. It is not my responsibility to discipline junior officials.
And it is not your responsibility, then I take it, is it a proper interpretation as to what members of EMPD do? It's not your responsibility, and neither is it your concern. Do I understand you correctly?
My concern, like I indicated, the reporting lines, the chief of police reports to me. The subordinates, whether it's managers, executive managers, in terms of the legislation, they report to him.
Yes.
And he ought to have taken steps against this misconduct.
So then I must accept that if this team of people, or even more, all registered with EMPD, went around the province killing people at will, it's not a matter that will perturb you. And any failings by the chief of police to take action against those people is a matter to be left at the chief of police's doorstep. And you should never be engaged on such matters
No,
as a
I
city.
should be engaged.
At what level and when?
Remember, chief of police is like in terms of the questions from this morning, it's like I'm personal with him. There are a lot of labor issues in that department, too much.
This is crime issues, doctor. It's not labor issues.
No, let me finish,
Okay.
ma'am. Can I be allowed
By all
to
means.
talk
By all means, I
and be
apologize.
free? There are a lot of labor issues, there are a lot of misconduct issues, and there are a lot of criminality issues in that department.
Yes.
And as I indicated that, we appoint HODs on the basis of their strength, especially around qualification and experience. And we believe at that point when we appointed chief of police that he will turn around the department and ensure compliance and deal with all the criminality that is that is happening in the department. We thought he would do that. But it cannot therefore be my sole responsibility to enforce that. Chief ought to have enforced that all members are actually vetted, and all members who actually are found to be wanting in terms of criminality are actually dealt with, including iPad.
Can I?
Yes, Commissioner.
Can I just maybe test this? Chief Mapia reports to you in the same way as Mr. Sheka reports to you. You receive this notice of intention to institute legal proceedings. There's an amount involved, but more importantly, there's allegations of criminal conduct from members of the EMPD. Surely it's not good enough for you. It cannot be good enough, and please say if you disagree and why. It cannot be good enough that you say, well, Chief Mapia is the one that was supposed to institute disciplinary proceedings. I took this demand and I sent it to legal, and that's the end of my role. He's your direct report on a serious matter of criminal conduct, such as serious and huge financial exposure potentially to the city. I would expect my city manager to ask Kasheka, are you aware of this? I want a report. If Kasheka is the right person, and from what you're saying, it sounds she's not even the right person, but somehow she gets involved in Mkwanazi's matters. But I would expect at the very least that the city manager who receives this notice says to my PA, I want a report. I want to know what you're doing about these criminal people that are in our system that have gone and robbed someone outside jurisdiction. And I'm concerned that your attitude is, well, he's the boss. If he didn't do it, don't look at me. Surely that he reports to you means something. Do you want to comment?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I comment by saying that in the morning we discussed his powers that he reports directly to council in terms of the SAPS Act and his responsibility to discipline members. And there's no way where it says the accounting officer must discipline members, including the systems of delegation. It is actually delegated to him. So I did not follow the discussion during his testimony as to whether such question was asked to him, what did he do with this? Despite claiming that he had a meeting with me to show me the pictures and whatever. That for me is still an allegation, and he must confirm it. The onus is on him to confirm that he did have a meeting and he indicated this. This report it's an official report. It is with legal to defend the city. The issue of discipline still lies with the chief of police.
What does it mean? Maybe let's go back to basics. What does it mean when you say he exercises his powers inter alia, subject to your directives? Well, what does that mean?
Remember, we discussed that fact that the council has appointed him as the head of policing.
Yes.
And I argue that in as much as he's appointed, we need to read the SEPS Act in conjunction with the Systems Act as well as the systems of delegation. So if he fails in his duties, obviously, as an accounting officer, I need to deal with it.
Yes.
I need to deal with it.
Yes. And
But
you're saying,
in this-
sorry, carry on, sorry.
Yeah, okay. In this particular matter,
Yes.
he did not discuss this thing with me. He never had a meeting with me on the 15th of, I've forgotten,
August.
of
August.
August.
Yes.
I only had a meeting with Chief of Police on the 16th, where we discussed the dysfunctionality of the department. That such things, some of these things are some of the things that came up from the members, that we have this and this and this, we do not have tools of trade, we do not have this. That's why I had to call that meeting and address some of the things.
Okay, I'm really dealing with this limited issue. You receive a letter or a notice to institute legal proceedings. It claims about 45 million from the city. It alleges criminal conduct on the part of your employees. They are employees of the city. They're not Mabia's city. You're the CEO, you've told us. So they are your employees. They are accused of criminal conduct. Your testimony, as I understand it, is, well, I did my part. I forwarded this to legal, and that's the end of my involvement. What happens discipline-wise with these employees, it's not my issue, it's a MAPIA matter. I struggle with that when you say he's accountable to you, and you don't seem to hold him accountable for this. And then you come here, you say, well, he didn't do anything about it. The question is, well, why did you not hold him accountable for this? And it seems your answer is, well, it had nothing to do with me. I am concerned about that.
Well, maybe it's an oversight from my side that I did not pursue him to actually, I mean, I have so many HODs, I can't be sitting on one person. And for me, I accept that it's an oversight for not making him to account.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. As a matter of interest, we dealt with one issue earlier, which is the statutory requirement for vetting for EMPD members. And you subsequently learned that Brigadier Mkwanazi refused to subject himself to vetting and equally refused that members of his unit be subjected to that. Now we are discussing issues such as illegal conduct, criminal conduct by members of EMPD. And your response is that, if I understood you correctly, that is the responsibility of the Chief of Police. As a matter of interest, when you account to council as regards EMPD, I take it you do so on the basis of an assessment of performance by the chief. What are his KPIs, his key performance indicators, to your recollection? You've served 2 terms. You shouldn't have too much difficulty recalling at least some key ones.
The key ones in terms of the core competencies is strategic direction, governance, financial management, I can't remember others. Remember, out of the system and performance contracts of HODs. The last time I assessed them, it was last year, and I can't recall exactly what is the content of that. But he is responsible for strategic direction, for communication, for a whole lot of things. I don't have a copy. If we can be afforded to give you a copy of that, we'll do that.
Okay. Now, you testified earlier that actually the meeting you had with Chief Mapie was on the 16th, not the 15th, as he alleges, correct?
The 16th,
The
yes.
16th, and you say the purpose of that meeting was for him to tell you that I think he's exhausted, and I'm paraphrasing here, so if I misquote you, please correct me, and that he would like to take special leave. That was the content of your conversation there, you stated.
I reported that the purpose of the meeting, myself and Chief, we discussed the dysfunctionality of the department.
Okay.
And out of the discussion, he indicated to me he's exhausted. He will request leave. He requests leave for him to deal with his mental exhaustion and so forth and so forth. So then we both agreed that we should address his subordinates. I'm repeating myself anyway. We should call an urgent meeting with his subordinate, which took place on the 17th, where we addressed them, both of us.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Commissioner.
Advocate Silo. Dr. Mashazi, who does the Chief of Police's assessment in terms of performance?
It's myself.
It's you. Before August 2023, when last had you done the assessment?
I don't recall. I'll have to check my records.
Am I correct that he was reappointed as Chief of Police in 2022?
You are correct.
And you would have recommended his appointment?
Yes, I did.
Why would that have been the case if the department was so dysfunctional and, according to you, he was not performing well?
That is, the meeting was in 2024, where the department was starting to. My meeting with them was in
No, it's 2023.
2023. Yeah, he was reappointed in 2022.
Yes.
We were both reappointed on the same day, and I was part of the panel. He performed at the interview. You appoint a person on the basis that his performance. And in 2023, I could see that the department is going down, as I was receiving complaints that the officers do not have uniform, do not have firearms. I became concerned and called him. We had a meeting where we discussed these issues, and he later requested that he's exhausted, he can't deal with matters.
I'm assuming you would have done, I'm just looking at his appointment letter here. It is dated 29 April 2022. I'm assuming you would have done his annual performance assessment in April, May of 2023.
Yes.
And you would have rated his performance good?
Yeah, maybe for the benefit of the commissioners. In terms of the performance, there's a fly here. I don't know, it's a sabotage. In terms of performance indicators, each and every HOD, they draw performance indicators according to the budget allocated. That's why it is linked to the SDBIP, that is Service Delivery Budget Implementation Plan. They draw those from the IDP, which is our 5-year contract. So Chief, key performance indicators, he was rated good. But these are small issues that will emerge as and when we hear that officers do not have firearms. Obviously, does not have a key performance indicator of ensuring that their firearms or whatever. So these are the issues that will emerge on a going basis in terms of his operations or operations of any HOD. For instance, you can't have millions of performance indicators and measure a person on millions of performance indicators. There are certain areas that are gray areas that are not part of the performance indicators. That's why you'll find that even the HODs who are not managing departments properly, but when they go for performance assessment, they do well because they've actually crafted the performance indicators according to their strength and according to the budget allocated to them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So can I,
Yes, Commissioner Mole?
from this discussion, and please forgive me for taking you back, but I'm going to ask because it's bothering me. Why would you recommend his appointment in 2022, if you have complaints about his inappropriate criminal conduct of abusing power, abusing employees in the workplace, how do you justify that you have that concern which you share with us today, which was never shared at council? You never raised this. You never caused an investigation. In 2022, you recommend him to be appointed. How do you square that up?
Remember, in terms of formal complaint, I only received the formal complaint now about his sexual harassment case and so forth. Others, as I indicated, ma'am,
Yes.
it was a group of these EMPD officials who cried out to me that as women or as females, we are not promoted unless
No, please,
1,
let
2,
me-
3.
I know what you're saying. You
Yes.
said it in the morning.
Yes.
But something new something has come up now. You recommended his appointment in 2022. You told us in the morning when you were appointed originally in 2016, I think it is, you received these complaints about him and other men in the department. We know you did nothing about it. And your explanation is I didn't have anything in writing, but you mentioned him by name. Among the others, you don't mention him, you mention by name. In 2022, you recommend his appointment. Someone that you are making serious allegations about, serious, which have consequences for even the metro. I mean, if the metro, if employees say, well, we told our city manager, and no measures were put in place to protect us against these pests in the workplace. Not only that, you, in 2022, recommend his appointment. I think that is deeply problematic.
Thank you, Chair. Remember when I introduced this particular program, I worked hand in hand with Chief. He complied with me. Hence, I indicated in the morning that each celebration, and he also assisted me to ensure that these women are actually uplifted. In terms of appointment, he took over. And in terms of promotion or ensuring that they get bursaries, he took over. He was complying with me. So for me, it was not a problem. The problem became when a formal complaint came. And it was not going to be fair for me to actually disqualify him on generalized allegations.
Thank you, Dr. Mashazi.
You see, Dr. Mashazi, the problem is that you want this commission to consider those issues that you say you became aware of in 2014, 2016, 2017. Yet in 2022, you were comfortable to recommend his appointment as chief of police. And on an annual basis, you were rating his performance as good, admittedly based on the measurements and the criteria that was being used, not on everything. But it is a concern that you come to this commission and you mention the things you heard about him 2016, 2014. The drunk driving case, for example, was 2014. You didn't see that as an obstacle as far as his appointment and reappointment as chief of police. But when you come to this commission, you want this commission to take those things into account.
As I indicated, that the issue about sexual harassment and also coercing on officials and so forth, there was no formal complaint. The issue about the accident and so forth, this is the information that we get now from the witnesses or people who are concerned about the statements that we made here in the commission. Remember, the commission is watched by officials also of the city, including the unions, and they know in the institution what is happening. Their members are actually affected. And I saw in one of the social media things that there was one union that was here to be heard about the lies that were spoken in the commission. So it was not going to be fair on my side to actually discredit Chief of Police based on the allegations that are now coming out.
Thank you, Dr. Mashazi. I want us then to turn to the meeting of the 17th of August 2023, and you deal with this.
Sure, I would do honestly.